I'm Jane Clarke, I'm Professor of Chemistry at University of Cambridge. The biggest challenge in chemistry is not actually, you'd be surprised, attracting young women into chemistry. We get about 40% of our graduate students are female. It's keeping them in there, keeping them engaged in science, in chemistry, in academic chemistry, beyond their sort of 30s. We just drop off in numbers then, and that's what's the biggest challenge for us. Well, first of all, we're wasting half the talent of the country. If we're not attracting half the brightest people in the country to stay as good chemists, then, we're wasting our time. It's a waste of talent. It's a wasted opportunity. All these young women who could have the best career in the world, which is what I think I have, are not staying in because we're not supporting them to stay in, we're not encouraging them to stay in. So it's really important. Economically, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for those young women personally. My career has been odd. It's not a traditional career. So when I finished my first degree, I went to be a school teacher and I taught for 14 years. I taught in London, I taught in Tottenham in comprehensive schools around the country. And then I went with my family to America. I couldn't teach there, so I switched careers and did a master's degree there and just got hooked on doing research. And when I came back to the UK and I wanted to do a PhD, lots of people didn't give me that opportunity. And one person did. Alan Furst, the top protein chemist in the world, gave me an opportunity to do it. And so I understand that it's possible to do this career in different ways. But what's shocking to me, really shocking, is that there are virtually no more women academics in chemistry now than they were when I did my first degree. And I did my first degree in the 1970s. And I've just had a granddaughter. My granddaughter's 2 years old. And I simply can't stand or bear the idea that things wouldn't be any better for her. So you've got to just stop hoping that gradually it will get better. It's not got better over the 40 years since I did my degree. You've got to work for it, you've got to fight for it, because it would be a travesty if Martha wouldn't go to university and find things were really different and it was welcoming to girls. The world of chemistry was a good place for women to work in. It's really difficult to get people to change their behaviour. For instance, in our department, until 2 years ago, there were only 4 women academics out of about 45, 50. And everybody thought that we were recruiting the best. Nobody thinks that they're discriminating. Everybody thinks that they want the best. The trouble is, the best looks like them. And so how you can change the behaviour to make people realise that there's value in diversity and value in different ways of doing things is very difficult. I think that you need to make people realise how the way that they're behaving is discriminating against women. For instance, in my department, propagating the belief that you can only be a good chemistry academic if you're prepared to work 14 hours a day, 7 days a week, which is, it's a macho idea, I work harder than you work. That will put people off who want to have the joy of having a family as well as having a good career. People who think that aggressive behaviour is okay, and it's really not okay. So I think what you have to do is every time you see something that's not right, you have to challenge it. But also you have to educate, you have to train people to be good leaders, you've got to train people to understand that the way they behave maybe affect women and men differently. And all these things are very hard and slow to get over, but in my department, we've been working at this for a few years, and half the academics that we appointed last year were female. For instance, we hadn't appointed a woman lecturer since year 2000, even though we'd appointed 20 people, 20 men. But last year, we appointed 4 people, and 2 of them were women. They weren't less good, but we made people open their minds to thinking that what looks good may be different to what they thought in the past.